Heidi Love has dedicated her life to helping individuals enhance their relationships and experience love. She serves those needing healing from emotional, physical, and sexual trauma and provides guidance for individuals seeking deeper intimacy. Heidi graduated from the Resonance Repatterning Institute in Scottsdale, Arizona, and the San Francisco School of Massage and the Love Coach Academy. She now continues her research and studies on the Big Island of Hawaii. She currently works directly with individuals, families, and groups on the Big Island and offers phone and Skype sessions nationwide. She is a living example and guide who will gently inspire you to deep and lasting relationships.
Hello and welcome. I'm Heidi Love, your facilitator for today's mini-series called Let's Talk. And today you will discover some simple and effective communication tools that will help you create the relationships you can't wait to get home to. So it doesn't matter if you're a single that's wanting to learn these skills so that you can find your beloved, or you're a parent who is just super frustrated because you cannot get through to your kids or they won't listen to you, or you're a couple that's in that very difficult question of should I stay or should I go? Or you can even be a couple that is madly in love and really happy in your relationship, but you're secretly wishing for deeper intimacy or more connection or passion. I just want you to know you're in the right place. Thank you for being here. Relationships were always important to me. I was super curious as a child, and I was very confused by what I saw around me. I saw a lot of arguing, a lot of shutdown, doors slamming, and I went through several divorces with my mom. We moved all the time, so there was a lot of uncertainty, and I didn't know who was going to be in my family system. And what this did was set me off on an incredible journey. I have dedicated my life, my time, and my work to finding out how relationships work and bringing these tools to people like you. I've counseled hundreds of people over the years, families, individuals, and couples. So my intention is to share with you in this mini-series some very effective ways to communicate, ways that bring closeness and understanding and family harmony. I would like to share with you how to set your partner up to win with you. And I want to define the word partner very quickly so you know what I'm referencing when I say that. Your partner is anyone you're engaging in this kind of conversation with. So it doesn't have to be your marriage partner or your lifetime partner. It can be a child or anyone that you're actually talking to, having this conversation with. So I'm going to bring you into a little exercise right now. So I want you to really tune in, and we're going to take a pause. I'm going to ask you a few questions, and I want you to reflect on them. So the first question is, think of one person in your life that you really want to be closer to. So I want you to bring that person into your mind right now. Just take a minute and think of who that might be. So now, when you have that person in mind, I want you to think of what is missing. What do you imagine to be in the way of you being closer with this person? So I want you to think on that right now. And now that that person is in your mind and you're thinking of what's missing or what's in the way of it, I want you to get in touch with what feeling that brings up for you. Does it bring up hurt, disappointment, frustration? Maybe it brings up possibility and hope for the future. All feelings are welcome here. So what you have just done is practice one of the tools that I'm going to give you today. Let's talk. Let's talk about the 3 A's. This is a mini system that will help you to be closer with other people by being aware of yourself. So I just gave away the first A. It's awareness. Awareness is so important. If we're unaware of what's going on with us, we become in reaction mode rather than response mode, and we want to respond rather than react. So how do we get this awareness? Your physical body never lies to you. And I want to share that the most intimate partnership that you'll ever have in this lifetime is the one with your own body. And it's worth cultivating. So in awareness, the first step is to check in with your physical body. I call it tracking. We track what's going on in our physical body. Do I have a lump in my throat? Is my belly turning? Are my shoulders tight? Do I have tension? Do I feel locked up? And so you just ask yourself those check-in questions, or just kind of do a body scan. What is going on in my physical body? And that's the first step in awareness. The second step to come to awareness is after identifying your body sensation. Let's say it's a lump in your throat. Okay, I have this lump in my throat. What is the feeling underneath it? So the second step is, what am I feeling? Am I anxious? Am I shut down? Am I hurt? Am I fearful? And then we go to the third step once you've identified your feelings. So let's say it's a lump in your throat, and that the feeling underneath it is fear, and that's what you can identify. So if you have a lump in your throat and you're feeling fearful, the third step is, what do you imagine you might need? So someone that has a lump in their throat, they're feeling fearful, they might need a hug. They might need a pause. They might need to stop and connect with the person that they're connecting with. You might need reassurance. So the third step is doing your best to identify what you need. So now that you've come into awareness by identifying your body sensation, looking at what you're feeling, and identifying what you might need as a result of that, we move into the second A. The second A is acceptance. And oftentimes when we become aware, the first thing that we do is judge it. We bring out the, I shouldn't feel this way. I can't ask for that need to be met. I shouldn't even have that need. And so what I say is, you shouldn't should on yourself. What I want you to know is that feelings and needs are never wrong. They can't be argued with. It's just your current reality. Our current reality is whatever is going on for us in that moment. And oftentimes where the worst conflict happens is when you're trying to share your current reality with someone else and they're trying to change your current reality or tell you how it's not true because they want to fix you, or vice versa. How many of you done that to somebody else? I know that fixing was one of my go-to behaviors, which we'll be talking about on our next mini-series. But your current reality is just the truth. It's the truth in that moment. It's not true or false truth, but it's your current reality and the truth that you're in right now. And for us to have intimacy, we have to be with our current reality. So having acceptance about it, owning that truth, knowing that feelings and needs are never wrong, is the second step. It's the second A, it's acceptance. Every single thing we do, how we look at people, the tone we use, our body language, and the words we say are to meet either a conscious or unconscious need. So I'm going to say that again. Every single thing we do in life is to meet a conscious or unconscious need. And I want to say again that needs are never wrong. What happens is the strategy in which we want to meet our need sometimes can hurt us and sometimes can hurt others, which brings me into the third A. The third A is action, intentional action. So once you've identified what you're feeling, what you're needing, what your body sensation is, and that you've come to acceptance that that's just your truth right now, that's your current reality you're going to share with another human being, then you can take intentional action. And intentional action is positive action because you've now looked at what is the truth behind what you're wanting. So once you've identified your awareness, you've accepted it, you can move into that action. And sometimes an action is learning to make a request. And we aren't going to learn how to communicate requests today. We will do that further down in our series. But I'm going to tell you a little story that happened so you can kind of have an example of how communication can go wrong with these requests. So I was teaching class on Zoom video conference, so there's many people that can see each other on the class, and people can mute themselves or unmute themselves on the microphone. And there happened to be a lot of people unmuted, and there was quite a bit of noise going on. So one of my participants unmuted his mic and said, let's see the words that he used. He said, "I am so irritated right now. Can those of you that don't have your microphone muted, mute it?" And that was his, what I would call a demand rather than a request. And again, we'll get into that deeper down the way. But had he run through the actions, he could have said it in a different way, which I'm going to give an example. So when something happens to us and we're charged, we get a feeling, we often react, which we talked about just earlier, right? So in order to respond, we have to slow down and you ask yourself those simple questions. What am I feeling? What am I needing? Even if you only use those two and not the whole process of the body and all the things we just talked about, what am I feeling? What am I needing? If this person might have identified, I'm feeling irritated and I'm really needing to hear everybody clear. And my clear request could be, can you please mute your mics? The conversation could have went like this. Excuse me, I need to pause everyone. I'm feeling really irritated right now. This class is important to me and I really want to hear everything you're saying. So I'd like to make the request that if you're not talking, you mute your microphone on your phone. So the reason that I told you that story and gave you that little example, which was a true story by the way, is so that you can see how communicating in a different way might make your partner feel different. In this case, the partners being everyone else that was in the group. So he could set them up to win by taking a pause. What am I feeling? What am I needing? And what's my simple request? And he might have had a different response from the group. The way that he communicated made some people uncomfortable. And that's a whole nother story I could go into because each person in the group had a different response. So we'll talk about that later. So this brings me to the next tool I'm going to share with you today, which is intention. And you won't know your intention unless you have the awareness, the acceptance, the action. But this allows you to pause and think, what do I actually want out of this conversation? What is the result I'm wanting from communicating what I'm going to say? And if you go back to the story, if he would have identified what he wanted, which was just really to have people mute their microphones so that he could hear. The need was to be able to hear, and the request was, please mute your microphone. So those were the intentions, and we're going to talk about intention a little bit. So I'm wondering if there's been a time in your life when you've gone into a conversation and you're having a lot of feelings, you might be hurt or upset or mad, and you're just telling your partner how you feel and the story of what happened with no real idea of what you're wanting from your partner. And sometimes it goes south. I call it ping pong because there's some things that happen when you communicate that cause defensiveness. So I want to bring you to the analogy. If you were before a judge or a prosecutor, what would you need? You would need a really good defense, right? So this is where ping pong can happen. The judge or prosecutor comes out and the defense comes back. And here we go, match of ping pong back and forth. I'm sure all of you have experienced this. I know that I have. So having your intention, you can go in with that intentional action that we talked about. What is the outcome that I want? What do I want from having this communication? Those are simple questions that you can ask yourself. And so I want to give you an easy acronym. I love one-liners and acronyms because especially in moments of conflict or confusion, they come easier to our brain. So it's WAIT, W-A-I-T. Why am I talking? And there's a hand mudra that goes with this. So before you react, you do the wait. Why am I talking? This is the hand mudra. Put an L and put it right over your mouth because you don't need to speak until you know your intention. Why wait? Well, the reason is if we want to set our partners up to win with us, we want to avoid being the judge or the prosecutor or appear to be that to the person we're talking to. As I said before, if we appear as a judge or a prosecutor, we set up the defense, the defensiveness, right? And if they're on the defense, we don't go anywhere good. So there's a simple thing that I'm going to share with you, and it's a listening switch. We want to avoid tripping their listening switch. This listening switch is called BSW. Do you know what that stands for? Bad, stupid, wrong. Oftentimes when we're communicating, we trip the listening switch and they feel that we're telling them in some way that they're bad, stupid, or wrong. And that's where people go if they feel judged or they feel prosecuted. They feel I'm bad, stupid, and wrong, and then they defend themselves because who wants to feel bad, stupid, and wrong? So one of the ways to avoid tripping the listening switch, the BSW switch, is to avoid using absolutes. Absolutes are words like always, never, right, wrong, good, bad. How often have you said to your partner, you never listen to me. I always feel left out. And that's using absolutes. And those are things that set your partner up for the defense. And when they're in defense mode and you're in prosecutor mode, no connection is going to happen. So avoid the BSW switch. So sometimes when you start learning some new skills or new relationship tools, shame comes up. We think we should have already known this, or we identify easily what we're doing wrong instead of what we're doing right. And of course, as I'm teaching you new skills, we look at what not to do. We also are going to look at what to do in the future. But that nasty shame from thinking that we should know something different needs to go out the window. So I'm going to give you an acronym for shame. I told you I love my one-liners and acronyms. So shame is should have already mastered everything. So shame on shame, and we're not going to use it as we're learning new tools together. I'm going to just give a little wrap up of everything we've talked about and give you some exercises you can do at home. Something very simple. It's not homework, it's fun work. So we went through how to set your partner up to win with you. The 3 A's: awareness, acceptance, and action. Once you track your body, you can track what am I feeling, what am I needing, and then you accept it within yourself as your current truth, your current reality. And only from there can you figure out your intention and go into positive action. What is it I want from sharing what's going on with me? What is it I want to get out of letting someone know what I'm feeling and what I'm needing? Is there a clear request? So at home, I want all of you to practice awareness. If that's the one thing that you can learn between now and the next class, it's really tracking those 3 steps to awareness. What is my physical body going through? What am I feeling? What am I needing? Because it all starts there. It all starts with awareness. Please join me for our next Let's Talk, and we will cover part of the 5 mistakes that cause disconnection. I'll be seeing you soon, and thank you so much for watching today and making an effort to make your homes more loving. Communication starts with us. We take it home to our families take it out into our communities, and by touching our communities, we can change the world.